Hey everybody, thanks again for tuning in to the latest Hurricane Tracker app live video stream. We tried this a few minutes ago, but we were having some internet connectivity issues. Well, thank you all for stopping in. Today is Saturday, May 16th, 2020, and this is being live streamed around 4:20 p.m. Central Standard Time. Well, for the sixth season in a row, we have a system that has developed prior to June the 1st. About a half an hour ago, the National Hurricane Center did classify Invest 90L as our first tropical depression of the season, which is Tropical Depression 1. And the depression is located about 125 miles east of Melbourne, Florida. It is moving towards the north-northeast at 13 miles per hour. The minimum pressure is down to 1,008 millibars. And a tropical storm watch has been issued for a portion of the North Carolina coast, as what is likely to be Tropical Storm Arthur will be passing very close to the North Carolina Outer Banks on Monday. And it could bring 1 to 2 inches of rainfall and winds in the minimum tropical storm force to portions of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The Tropical Storm Watch has been issued for a portion of the North Carolina coast, and that would be from north of Surf City to Duck, North Carolina, and that does include the Pamlico and Albemarle Sounds. And again, that generally means tropical storm conditions are possible within 48 hours. And of course, check with your local National Weather Service office for exact impacts to your area. All right, well, over here on the right side of your screen, we have the Hurricane Tracker app up. We do have Tropical Depression 1, which is active in the app. We're going to go ahead and review some of the latest data. Again, this storm is not going to be that big of a deal, not going to create very many issues, but it is significant because it is our first system of the year. And again, early season development is always interesting. You can see on the visible satellite loop, the system throughout the day today is becoming better organized. Wind shear has decreased, and that is allowing more thunderstorms to form. And the center of circulation is definitely organizing, and pressures are beginning to drop a little bit as well. And again, this system is going to move towards the north-northeast away from the Florida coast. So we don't expect any more impacts for those of you across the state of Florida. All right, if we click on storm graphics here, you can see the very first 5-day forecast cone and track from the National Hurricane Center. Again, the system should become Tropical Storm Arthur within the next 12 to 24 hours as it moves north-northeast. And you can see there highlighted in yellow is the area of the tropical storm watches there for portions of eastern North Carolina. And here's a look at the latest models. Most of the models do keep the center offshore. The H-Wharf hurricane model and the GFS model are farthest to the left and does clip the Outer Banks as the system moves closer towards North Carolina. But the other models, such as the European ensembles, are further to the east. And of course, the National Hurricane Center took their track and went kind of right down the middle of the consensus there. And we do have low alert levels still posted for eastern North Carolina. Again, we're not expecting any significant impacts. There could be a coastal water rise along the coast a little bit, as well as, again, 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. And tropical storm force wind gusts in a 40 to 45 mile per hour range. Again, that would be along the immediate coast, mainly across the Outer Banks. To go to the rest of the National Hurricane Center graphics, you can see 5-day tropical storm force wind probabilities. Looking at about 30 to 40% chance of tropical storm force winds along the immediate Outer Banks of North Carolina. Probabilities for winds of 58 miles per hour or stronger are generally 5 to 10% range, so very low. As again, the waters are just too cool for this system to strengthen into a hurricane. If we were in the month of June or July, this system strengthening to a hurricane would be a little more probable. But right now, the water conditions are just a little too cold to support hurricane development. And you could see most likely tropical storm force wind arrival would be Monday morning throughout Monday afternoon across the eastern portion of North Carolina. And you could see there's the low pressure area located off of east central Florida, just north of the Bahamas. And here I'll zoom in. You could see we do have the Gulf Stream that runs along the southeastern United States coast. But most of the water temperatures are about 24 to 25 degrees Celsius, which again are not quite warm enough to support a hurricane. And you can see the regional radar loop out of Florida. You can definitely see the cyclonic spin off of the coast of East Florida. And, some scattered showers and thunderstorms, nothing too organized and nothing that's really going to cause any problems. And the last section here, look at the models. The intensity guidance does show that it's in line with the National Hurricane Center forecast, bringing this system to around 50 to 60 mile per hour winds in about 2 to 3 days. The GEFS ensembles are kind of split. Half of them are more towards the left over eastern North Carolina, while the mean, the average, which is the black line, does show that the center could cross the Outer Banks. That's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. That's not the forecast at this point, as the European model is still farther to the east offshore. So we'll watch over the next day or two how the models play out, how close this does get to North Carolina, and if it does make landfall or not. But at this point, whether or not it makes landfall or just brushes the coast, the impacts are going to be the same regardless. So there you go. There's the first update on Tropical Depression 1, our first storm of the season. We thank you so much for using the Hurricane Tracker app, and we will update this as the information changes if the conditions warrant. And thank you so much for using the Hurricane Tracker app. We hope each of you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for tuning in. Take care.